Morning News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news in Lawrence County. SLED is investigating an officer-involved shooting at the Lawrence County Hospital. We are live there this morning. We know one officer was shot. That person is undergoing treatment right now. The suspect was also shot. We have team coverage for you this morning.
Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. It's April 11th. So glad you're joining us this morning.
Yeah, we are wrapping up the week. We're getting close to it. And, of course, we want to talk a lot about what's been happening out in Lawrence County. So this morning, we want to talk, Lauren, about what's been going on there all night.
Yeah, obviously, people are waking up hearing this news, and it's scary. This happened at the Lawrence County Hospital shortly after 2 this morning. We are working to learn the conditions of both the officer and the suspect. We want to get right to Fox Carolina's Ashley Manelli, who has been live on the scene for us overnight.
Hey, Lauren. Yeah, and I want to reassure people at home, if you have loved ones who are in the hospital right now or who have been visiting, as far as we know, they are okay. SLED did confirm to us that the only people injured in this shooting were the officer and the suspect. We know that this had to have been a terrifying situation. If anyone saw this unfold inside, let's get to the scene and show you a little bit about what it looked like overnight. You can see in this video a cop car spent much of the morning out there in front, blocking people from coming in and out of the hospital. What we know is that, as Lauren mentioned, that call came in around 2 o'clock as an officer-involved shooting. A police officer from the hospital with the Greenville Health Authority Police Department was involved with a confrontation with an individual inside the hospital. According to SLED, that person shot at the officer, then tried to run out of the building. The officer shot at the suspect. Both of them, again, currently undergoing treatment this morning. We do know that, again, no one else was hurt. Right now, there are no officers on scene from where we are, but we do know that there are other crews on scene right now keeping an eye on other areas of the hospital, Lauren, so I know you'll be getting to them in just a minute.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you pointed that out about everyone, the patients at the hospital are okay. Now, news of this shooting at the hospital, it spread so fast. Even though it was the middle of the night, a lot of people were reaching out to us. Fox Carolina's Alex Rodriguez continues our team coverage.
We're at the backside of Lawrence County Hospital. You can see that there are still some law enforcement officers out here this morning. Prisma Health has told us that they are restricting access right now. So as cars are coming up, officers are talking to the vehicles and then allowing them to come on. So if you do have to be this way, just keep that in mind. What we know is that this came to our attention after a lot of social media posts came into our Fox Carolina newsroom. From there, we reached out to Prisma Health, who referred us to SLED, who told us again that it was between an officer and one suspect. I can tell you that I have talked to some people who are nearby at offices here, and they have, the one question they asked me is, where is that suspect? Is everyone okay? And yes, that suspect is at the hospital being treated because, as Ashley mentioned, the officer and the suspect were both hit when gunfire was exchanged. Some people are extremely concerned about this. We are going to keep reaching out to people and talking to them, but that's one of the biggest questions I've heard. Is there an active concern, a search for this suspect? That suspect is in the hospital. Lauren?
Okay, Alexa, thanks. And this, some sad irony here. It comes after another shooting inside a hospital in Orangeburg. One person was inside the ER at the regional medical center there on Wednesday, and a hospital employee was shot by a patient. We've learned it was a nurse. She underwent surgery, but is still in serious condition. In that situation down in Orangeburg, we do know they took that suspect into custody. Of course, we're going to follow the very latest out of Lawrence County this morning. Stay with us on air until 9 o'clock. Then we'll update you throughout the day on foxcarolina.com and also on our social media pages. Then join us again this afternoon for the 4 and the 5 o'clock news. We'll have more on this breaking news. Right now, if you're heading out the door, we want to get the latest on your forecast.
Thanks, Lauren. Yes, we are looking at decent weather conditions, at least a calm morning weather-wise. 51 degrees up in Asheville, 61 degrees in Greenville. So a pretty big spread in temperatures. And we are seeing some cloud cover outside right now. The sun sun starting to peek through now that it's just coming up over the horizon. These temperatures will warm nicely, especially as these clouds begin to clear. It'll get to 70 around noon with a high of 78 degrees at the end of the day. Mountain towns in the 50s now. You get to the 60s around midday with a high of 74. Another beautiful setup for your day today. Get out and enjoy the springtime temperatures, the warmth, the sunshine as rain returns tomorrow. That will continue with both a small rain chance Saturday and a storm threat on Sunday. I'll tell you if there's any strong storms in your forecast in just a moment. Just after 7:05 here, Chris, what do you see on the roads?
Yeah, we have accidents around the area, so listen carefully if you are in Anderson County. Shady Grove Road at Holiday Dam Road, just north of Honea Path. Also, injuries reported still being worked over in Oconee County at Highway 11 and Country Junction Road. We're looking at accidents in Greenville County, Independence Boulevard at Roper Mountain Road and 85 South, exit 51 at 385. And Spartanburg County, you too have two accidents, 101 in Brockman-McClyman, Southport Road at Keltner Avenue. There's the backup due to the accident around the exit 51 385 area. That's Pelham Road looking south. That's where all the brake lights are right now.
All right, Chris, we'll be sure to check back as we get closer to rush hour. Thank you. Lauren, right now, though, we know you're watching some new information in Anderson County.
Yeah, 3 people facing charges after a shootout, guys. It happened at a motel there. And new from overnight, we've gotten the mugshots of 2 of the suspects. This is Jordan Kennard and Cannon Owens. They're both facing a ton of charges, including assault and battery. Tyler Brooks, this is the 3rd suspect. He's already been arrested for that same charge of assault. This happened outside the Hilltop Motel on Highway 29 South. Investigators say 2 groups of people met up behind the motel. The fight broke out. That's when the shots were fired. Deputies say 7 people were involved. 2 of those people got shot. 1 of the victims had to be rushed into surgery. That other victim is expected to be okay. Another story we're watching really closely to see if anyone else gets arrested. Guys?
Thanks, Lauren. 7:06 this morning, Upstate Police will channel their inner ballerinas to honor crime victims.
Yeah, Clemson City police officers, they'll be participating in Walk a Mile in Their Shoes. Yes, they are walking in heels. It's an event that's happening tonight. Now, it's going to happen at 6 p.m. at Patrick Square. There'll also be a movie, food trucks, and music. The event is held to raise awareness about the seriousness of violence against women. So a wonderful thing that they're doing. And over in Columbia, the Sexual Trauma Services of the Midlands had to cancel their 10th annual Walk a Mile in Their Shoes event. The center got several threatening calls to staff and the organization. Authorities there are taking these calls seriously, and they are working to ensure safety for everyone. So we'll, of course, keep you updated on that. Right now, they'll want to kind of take a look at the big picture from coast to coast with that forecast, Isaac.
Yeah, Ted, lots of quiet weather ongoing across the southeast states. That's good news, but you can start to see some unsettled conditions back across areas to our north and west. Big powerhouse low pressure system bringing blizzard conditions to the Dakotas, Nebraska, Minnesota. And out in the warm sector of the system, storms are likely today as that cold front marches eastward from places like St. Louis up to Chicago. Those will continue to move eastward as well. As the main system lifts into Canada, this front is going to stall out and bring prolonged storm chances across the southern and southeastern states starting tomorrow in many areas and lasting through much of this weekend with a severe weather threat starting Saturday and then bringing that into our area potentially on Sunday. Nicole will have more on that coming up here in just a few minutes. Lauren?
Isaac, thanks. Fans and family getting ready to say goodbye to rapper Nipsey Hussle. More on today's sold-out service at the Staples Center when we come back.
And we have accidents all over the area, including these 2 in Greenville. One of those at 85 South. Exit 51 has 85 South really backing up right now.
Chris, thanks. A live look this morning in Lawrence County. Lawrence Memorial Hospital, that shooting, officer-involved shooting, both the officer and the suspect being treated this morning. We have team coverage of what happened from overnight. When we come back, you're watching The Morning News on Fox Carolina.
You're watching The Morning News on Fox Carolina.
Good morning. It is 7:12. We are looking live right now at the Lawrence County Hospital after a shooting happened there overnight. This has been breaking news for you all this morning. It was a scary night there, as you can imagine. That shooting was involving an officer. 2 people are now being treated. Alexa Rodriguez is live at the hospital with more.
That's right. What I can tell you, we're on the back end of the hospital. We did have some officers clear out of here within the last 5 minutes. We were told by those officers to head to the front end of the hospital. That's where the media relations department wanted us to be. We do have team coverage, so Ashley Minnelli is heading that way. If there is an update from hospital officials, she will be bringing that to you guys live throughout the rest of the morning news. What I can tell you is that this is really causing a lot of concern for people who are in this area, and for especially people that were inside this hospital when it happened. We got a flood of social media posts into our newsroom. That's what caused us to reach out to Prisma Health System, who referred us to SLED, who told us that this was an incident between two people, a police officer and a suspect. Both of them are being treated at the hospital right now, because that's one of the biggest concerns I've heard from people who work in this area, who have been out here since about 5 a.m. They said they saw a lot of ambulances coming by, obviously a lot more activity than what they would typically see since they work across the street from this hospital all the time. It was extremely concerning for them. The one question they had for me was, is that suspect in custody? And yes, the suspect is at the hospital in custody being treated. We are working to get an update on their conditions. SLED tells us that it was an altercation between the police officer and the suspect. The suspect, according to SLED, then fired one shot at the police officer, tried to run outside of the building. The officer returned fire, hitting the suspect. Again, we know the police officer as well as the suspect are at the hospital being treated. We will continue to follow any developments. Lauren?
Yes, we sure will. We'll have team coverage for you more in just a moment. Right now, out in California, prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for a man accused of killing more than a dozen women. It took more than 3 decades to arrest the Golden State Killer, Joseph D'Angelo. The murders happened back in the late 70s and the early 80s. The state says they will go after the death penalty if he's convicted. No trial date has been set. Also out on the West Coast, the funeral for rapper Nipsey Hussle is happening today. Tickets had to be issued. It was a free event, but it sold out within an hour. It's at the Staples Center. Police are also confirming some sad news that a shooting did happen during a vigil. You may recall the chaos. It was just days after the rapper was shot. Hundreds were gathered there, and people started to hear gunfire. Police did confirm 2 women went to the hospital with gunshot wounds. People were also hurt, being trampled. They are looking for that suspect now. It is 7:15. If you're heading out the door, let's get you a look at the forecast. Nicole?
Thanks, Lauren. Yes, we are looking at temperatures that are relatively comfortable for this time of the morning. Our averages at this hour of the day, the 40s. So to see 50s and 60s outside, pretty nice for an early April morning. 61 in downtown Greenville, 51 degrees surrounding Asheville. A couple spots in the high peaks still in the 40s, like Franklin. So a couple places you'll need those thicker layers, maybe a heavier jacket, at least temporarily. Luckily, the wind is almost completely calm everywhere. To start, light breeze surrounding Greenville and Asheville, Rutherfordton too, but for the most part, really looking good. As the wind picks up this afternoon, it's going to come out of the southeast. That's going to keep a slightly cooler pattern in store for your day today. Barely, though. The upstate still getting up to 78 degrees. Yesterday was 79, so not a huge difference there. You'll see a mostly sunny sky after a few early clouds clear out, and then eventually it will become a bit more breezy. We could see some stronger wind before the sun starts to set this evening. Mountain towns, sun and clouds today, 74 degrees after highs in the upper 70s yesterday. You'll have that sun-cloud mixture with the breezier afternoon. Your morning, though, relatively calm. So we are calling your Carolina Sky Meter a perfect 10 for the second day in a row. You'll want to get out and enjoy it, because there will be some bigger changes going forward into the next couple days. Our area so far just showing some clouds, and it's relatively thin cloud cover, so eventually it will clear enough to see more sunshine come through. This is kind of that final day that we're going to see a lot more of that clear sky, and it's all due to this massive system out in the middle of the country. There are blizzard warnings in places in the upper Midwest. A lot of rain happening, a couple of storms in advance of that system. It will continue to track eastward, and that will eventually bring the southeast rain by tomorrow, and it will linger for a couple of days as a trailing cold front kind of sticks around to the southeast with this system. So today, looking at clouds kind of passing by every now and then, clearing up a little bit more into the mid-afternoon, late evening as well. Overnight, clouds return. Rain starts again tomorrow morning. We could see that last on and off all day on Friday, and a few showers could stick around into Saturday too. But the big focus going forward is on Sunday's severe storm setup. That trailing cold front, that's going to eventually bring us some enough activity that the heat and humidity that will have already been pummeling into the southeast all stirs up enough to have a classic setup for strong to severe weather by the time we get to Sunday afternoon. So from about midday onward on Sunday, you'll need to watch out for some strong to severe storms, damaging wind, hail. Can't rule any of that out. Luckily, it will clear in time for next week. Monday, just a little bit cooler in the 60s and lower 70s, but another nice setup and a warmer pattern returns before midweek. Now, I want to get to your riding forecast, sponsored by Harley-Davidson of Greenville. Riding this weekend, better done on Saturday, but you'll still have to dodge the occasional rain showers. It'll stay warm and kind of sticky outside. Sunday, park the bike. You're not going to want to get caught in any of those severe storms. Mountain towns, your temperatures this weekend stay mild in the low 70s, but Saturday's the better day to ride with a couple rain showers possible and otherwise a dry setup. Sunday, tides stay in as those severe storms could become locally strong in the afternoon. 7:18 right now. Chris, are you seeing any new problems on the road?
Yeah, accidents around Anderson County on Shady Grove Road right around Holiday Dam Road. Also look out for one still working at Highway 11 and Country Junction Road in Oconee County. Injuries were reported there earlier. Greenville County, Independence Boulevard at Roper Mountain Road and I-85 South, exit 51 at I-385. Also in Spartanburg County, you have Southport Road at Keltner Avenue and Highway 101 at Brockman-McClyman Road. That is one to watch for. And here's the backup due, of course, to the accident around exit 51. That's 85 South, where you see traffic still pretty heavy at this point.
Chris, thanks. 7:20 this morning. Now let's get a look at some of those trending stories. We know that remakes, well, they're a part of Hollywood's circle of life these days, pun intended, because we're getting a new look at the latest trailer for The Lion King. This is Disney's live-action remake of The Lion King. We got to look at a lot of those pivotal and iconic scenes that we remember from the original in 1994. Even a close-up of some of the characters. We saw the hyenas for the first time. That iconic stampede scene that we all know too well, and getting a lot more looks of what Simba's going to look like.
But look at how real that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what amazes me about the way they do movies and the graphics now. They're just amazingly real.
If anybody is a fan of Life or Planet Earth or those National Geographic shows, like, you watch this trailer, it's almost, you're just waiting for Morgan Freeman's voice to say, you know, everything the light touches.
I am not ready. Wow. My emotions are not ready for this, I do not think.
I think this is my favorite Disney movie, and this is going to be the one that tears at your soul.
Yeah.
And those hyenas looking just as grimy as they are.
They are.
Yes.
So real. So real.
Man. And just think of all the songs, too. I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Hakuna Matata. Can't wait.
I know, it's going to be incredible. There's a lot of big names in this, too. Donald Glover as Simba, Beyonce as Nala, James Earl Jones as Mufasa, July 19th.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah. James Earl Jones, he did the original Mufasa, correct? So he's back for it. So
had to bring him back. There's no other voice like that.
Well, here's a live look at Greenville County. A little slow down there on I-85. Chris is monitoring traffic conditions for you. We'll be right back with more news, weather, and traffic after a quick break.
Welcome back to the Morning News on Fox Carolina. Glad you're with us. This is a live look. Lawrence Memorial Hospital. We're taking a look at an officer-involved shooting from overnight. This is in Lawrence County. We have team coverage on what we've gathered for you as we continue to pass along not only the information of what we have on what happened so far, but also getting the reaction from some of the witnesses and those that have been talking about this all morning. So we'll talk to Alexa and Ashley in just a little bit and get that for you. Well, 7:24. After entering a heated battle with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, the National Enquirer is now up for sale.
That's right. The Washington Post reports American media has come under intense pressure by its controlling shareholder to part ways with the Enquirer. Now, the company has been in a legal mess for the past year due to dealings with President Trump and Michael Cohen. No word yet about who might be in line to buy the Enquirer or at what price.
Reality star Kim Kardashian, well, she wants to be a lawyer.
That's right. Kardashian told Vogue that she began a 4-year apprenticeship with a law firm in San Francisco last summer. She says she became inspired after she helped 63-year-old Marie Johnson get released from prison. Johnson was in jail on a first-time nonviolent drug offense. Kardashian says she's required to log 18 hours of supervised study per week and plans to take the bar exam in 2022.
Nice. We'll have to keep up with her career as that continues to progress. 7:25 right now. Let's check in with Lauren.
Guys, thanks. The mother of Trinity Harrison, the young woman killed after prom, talks to the suspect in court. It's some emotional video. We'll share that with you after the break. Ashley is also covering our breaking news in Lawrence County.
Fancy, we don't even have one of those sun blockers. We could really use one of those right about.
Taking a live look over Clemson this morning. We'll check back in with Ashley and the crews out at the hospital. You're watching the Morning News on Fox Carolina. We'll be back after a quick break.
Starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news in Lawrence County. An officer-involved shooting at the Lawrence County Memorial Hospital. We know one officer was shot. So was the suspect. We're trying to find out how they're doing. We'll have team coverage for you this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, April 11th, just about 7:30, starting rush hour.
Yeah, glad you're joining us early this morning. We know we'll get to your forecast and the traffic in just a little bit, but right now, we want to get straight to that breaking news out of Lawrence County. It really is something we've been following all morning long, Lauren.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people are just waking up, hearing about it, scared as to what happened. Now, let's show you where it happened. This was at the Lawrence County Hospital shortly after 2 this morning. You just heard me say we're trying to find out how those two shooting victims are doing. The officer and the suspect were both shot. Fox Carolina's Ashley Manelli, she's been live at the hospital overnight trying to find out the latest.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten much more of an update, but if you are just joining us, so we're going to fill you in on what we do know. First of all, those of you who have family members inside this hospital right now, SLED did confirm that the only people hurt during the shooting were the suspect and the officer. Let me show you the scene out here right now. Not much of it. In fact, the officer that was blocking the entrance has cleared the scene and is allowing people in and out of the hospital as normal. What we know is that this call came in around 2 o'clock in the morning. As an officer-involved shooting call, we're told that a police officer at the hospital was involved with a confrontation with a person inside the hospital. That person, SLED says, shot at the officer, then tried to run out of the building, and the officer shot at the suspect. Both the suspect and officer are currently in the hospital undergoing treatment. We do not know how they are doing this morning. At this point, again, we know no one else was hurt. We don't know if the suspect was shot inside or outside of the hospital. We do know that the officer was shot inside. So you have to imagine that people might have heard what was going on overnight. This did happen at 2 o'clock in the morning, but nonetheless, I'm sure very scary for some people who maybe heard the commotion, maybe witnessed it. We don't know all those details right now, but as soon as we learn more, we will let you know. Lauren?
All right, Ashley, thank you so much. Yeah, we have team coverage this morning. Now, when we started getting reports about this, of course, a lot of people were concerned, even though this was the middle of the night. Fox Carolina's Alexa Rodriguez is at the hospital as well.
We're at the back end of Lawrence County Hospital, and within the last 20 minutes, we have since seen Greenville Memorial police officers clear out, letting people come because Prisma Health System told us that they did have restricted access. That's no longer a concern. We've seen people coming and going. Talking about what Lauren was talking about, yes, there were a lot of social media posts that came into our newsroom with a lot of concern because some of those posts were from people who were inside this building when this happened. As you heard Ashley talking talking about. That officer-involved shooting call came around 2 a.m. A lot of people expressing a lot of emotions on social media this morning. That prompted us to reach out to Prisma Health System, who told us to contact SLED, who told us about the officer-involved shooting. Again, just to reiterate, it was a police officer and one person inside the hospital. There was, according to SLED, some sort of altercation where SLED says the suspect then shot at the police officer and the officer returned fire. Both the suspect as well as the police officer are inside the hospital. They are being treated. We're working to get an update on their conditions. I've talked to a couple of people who work in businesses nearby the hospital. They say they've never seen a scene as active as it was last night. A lot of blue lights, a lot of ambulances, very concerning for them. The biggest question they had was, where is the suspect? And again, I want to let you know the suspect is at the hospital in custody being treated. Lauren.
All right, Alexa, thank you so much. And we'll be following the latest throughout the day. For the latest breaking news, you can always download our Fox Carolina News app. Those push alerts are super helpful when something like this happens. We'll also be updating you on air and online at foxcarolina.com today, also on our social media pages. Ted, Nicole.
Thanks, Lauren. We want to take a live look right now in Greenville County. A bit overcast in places here just off of I-85. It's going to end up a little more sunny by later on today. So that's some good news here just about 30 minutes after the sun came up. Temperatures right now range anywhere from the 40s to lower 50s in some of the mountains to the 60s in Greenville, Anderson, Hartwell, and Elberton. Still in the 50s for places like Clemson, Lawrence, and Union. And it may stay there for just a little longer considering that cloud cover. Those clouds again will clear throughout the day, leading to a mostly sunny afternoon. Temperatures going from near 60 right now to 78 degrees at the end of the day. A beautiful day with lots of warmth and a light breeze. Mountain towns starting again in the lower 50s, reaching 74 by late this afternoon. The wind, though light this morning, will start to pick up. We're looking at some stronger breezes by the end of the day, and that could usher in some rain by tomorrow. I'll give you a look ahead to that in a few minutes. It's the beginning of rush hour. Just after 7:30, Chris, what are you watching on the roads?
Yeah, we're still seeing pretty much the same active accidents that we've been following earlier. Let me kind of get back to where we were so I can kind of show you what's happening. Spartanburg County at Southport at Keltner Avenue, Highway 101 at Brockman McClyman Road. Those two still are active, obviously. Independence Boulevard around Roper Mountain Road in Greenville County, and Highway 11 at Country Junction Road in Oconee County is still being worked as well. Shady Grove Road at Holiday Dam Road at Anderson, and that is it. We are seeing this back up on 85 South. This is the 56, 57 airport exit, all the way down to exit 51. An earlier accident there really causing this delay right now. We'll have another update on traffic again in a few minutes.
Thanks, Chris. We'll keep checking with you throughout rush hour. Now we're going to talk to Lauren this morning, following up on more of our local headlines.
All right, Nicole and Ted, thanks, guys. The man accused of causing a crash that killed a high school student in Ware Shoals is begging for forgiveness. Trinity Harrison, she was a senior at Ware Shoals. She had just left her senior prom. You can see there she's all dressed up when the crash happened. Carter Owen is facing a judge on Wednesday, He was denied bond. He's been charged with DUI. Troopers say he swerved into the center lane and hit the car that Trinity was in head on. Again, this was right after prom. Emotions were running high as Trinity's family members came face to face with Owen. Her mom was there. She told him the family is shattered, but they're trying to stay strong. Owen had one chance to address her and said if he could, he would take it all back.
You do not understand the rage. You do not understand the hurt, the pain that you have put us in. All because of a dumb decision.
I would trade my life for her in a heartbeat. I'm not going to be able to live with myself after today or after last Saturday. I apologize if there's anything I can take off with it. But I can't take it back.
Everyone left shattered after a situation like this happens. Carter Owen is staying in jail. Again, his bond was denied until a trial. He's being held at the Greenville County Detention Center. The Greenwood community is still remembering Trinity. They had a beautiful balloon release on Wednesday. Loved ones say the teenager had such a bright future ahead of her, and she was just taken too soon. You can see purple and balloons and blue balloons were released in her memory. Remember, she had that beautiful blue dress on at prom. Funeral arrangements locations have been announced. The viewing is tomorrow at the Robinson Walker Funeral Home in Ware Shoals. It starts at 6. The funeral is on Saturday at the Little River Multicultural Center in Hodges. That will be at 3. Trinity will be laid to rest at the Greenwood Memorial Gardens on Highway 25. Ted, Nicole.
Thanks, Lauren. 7:37 this morning. Some of the nation's top golfers prepared to hit the green as the Masters all gets underway today.
Yeah, and a lot of them have their eyes on that green jacket, but one South Carolina native has an even closer eye on the green jacket. Dustin Johnson made his final preps for the Masters Wednesday. He's one of the best in the game. Johnson, he'll hit the green this afternoon. We have a list of some of those tee times for you. Former Clemson Tiger Kyle Stanley, he'll start things off at 10:09 this morning. That's going to be followed by Tiger Woods at 11:04. Dustin Johnson will play with Jason Day at 1:38 p.m. We know the first tee time is about 8:30, so a full day of golf to be had at Augusta.